Today I'm going to talk about speed and versatility and how in today's world that is going to trump cost. And I'm going to do a couple things. First thing is I want to introduce myself and also the company that I work at. And then second, we'll go into what we do and why we feel that speed and flexibility are so important. So this is work at Lever Style. Lever Style is a one-stop shop apparel supply chain platform. And what we do is not to help the Walmarts of the world wring out the last penny from their cost. What we try to do is to provide the most flexibility in terms of lead times, order sizes, and so that we can help our customers, the brands, reduce inventory risk. And we believe there's a much more value there than in just trying to go for the lowest labor cost. So a little bit about Lever Style. I think the easiest way to explain what we do is actually to share with you who we work with. So we work with a lot of premium fashion labels, so Vince Theory, Rag & Bone, Paul Smith, Hugo Boss, Coach, James Perse, John Varvatos, the list sort of goes on, All Saints, and so forth. We also work a lot with performance and activewear brands, so people like Arc'teryx, J. Lindeberg, Helly Hansen. But also one niche that we have is working with digitally native pioneers, digitally native brands and platforms. So we've been working with Bonobos for about maybe a dozen years, and we are still by far the largest supply partner. We work with people like Stitch Fix with their private label program, and literally dozens of these DTC brands. A little bit sort of history about the company. We're established in 1956 in Hong Kong as a shirt manufacturing company. So pretty basic business. And in 2007, we started our horizontal integration into doing different kinds of products. And we acquired a tailoring manufacturer. In 2010, we started expanding beyond China, and we got into Vietnam. In 2011, we started to focus on the quick response, high mix, low volume sector. In 2016, we spun off the remaining factories that we had to transform ourselves into an asset-light supply chain platform. 2019, we listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. And in 2020, during the COVID year, we made 5 acquisitions to further expand our product range. So today, we pretty much make everything inside a wardrobe. So from active to fashion, men's, ladies, knits, wovens, we got it pretty much all covered. We specialize again in high mix, low volume production. So we do hundreds of units. Actually, our median order size is probably like around under 1,000 units. And we have a lot of, we produce in 5 different countries. We do a lot of virtual sampling, fabric pre-positioning. We do a lot of things that enable us to be much faster than the typical supply chain service provider. This is just a snapshot. Work with over 100 customers. We produce in about 100 factories. Vietnam is our biggest production base, followed by China. We're also in India, Indonesia, Cambodia, and we have people sort of around the world in all the fashion capitals. So I guess we're sort of a different kind of apparel company. In 2018, we're very fortunate to be given the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award. 2019, we went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. I guess nowadays, very few apparel companies, get themselves listed. We are well represented in all sorts of media. So this is just some of our, we're a publicly listed company, so this is just some of our recent performance. So in 2022, we just announced 51% growth in top line and more than tripling of profits from 2021. 2021 itself was a pretty strong rebound of 64% from 2020, which of course was a bad year in fashion. And our stock price recently, I guess in the last 3 months, has doubled. So enough about sort of Lever Style. So today the main topic is speed and versatility. And I guess there are a few things that are important. First, speed gives you the ability to test and react. If you have a conventional model, you just you make things you commit to making things 6-9 months in advance. If the thing is, if whatever you decide to sell is selling well, you can't really chase. And also, you have to sort of position a pretty large inventory because you won't be able to chase in season. Having that versatility allows you to have a proliferation in sizing and SKUs. Because if you can do things quickly, you can respond to it. You can then have a lot of different SKUs, sort of like the Amazon long tail effect. And then a third one, it minimizes stockouts. Because right now, if your product sells well, you can't really chase in season, and that's lost sales. And fourth, having the speed minimizes the working capital needs. So just give you a few examples into each of those points. We work closely with Stitch Fix on their private label program. And what they do is, let's say they want to order shirts. They don't know what's going to sell, so we help them, come up with the designs and so forth, and then we make a few hundred shirts, but over 10 different styles. And then we basically Stitch Fix and puts that out into the market. Within a week, they know what's selling well and what's not. For those that sell well, they'll order, okay, let's order 5,000 more of that shirt, and maybe there'll be a couple of styles that they do that with. For the other 8 styles that don't really sell well, they just, whatever the 300 units that they ordered, they just let it, basically sell through. And that sort of, having the speed allows them to basically react to just 1 week of sales data. Whatever's selling well, they will double down on it and actually, go 10x on it. And that drastically reduces the inventory risk. Imagine if they have 10 styles, they don't know what's going to sell, and they buy 2,000 units of each of them. Then for the 2 styles that sell well, they won't be able to replenish, and for the 8 styles that don't sell well, they're stuck with 1,000 plus units that they have to discount. Yeah, and then I talked about the proliferation of SKUs. When you have the speed and flexibility, you can have lots of sizes. For example, Bonobos, we're their largest supply partner, and we make all the chinos. So their chinos they're famous for their chino pants, and their chino pants have something like 200 SKUs per style. The reason being, each style has around 5 different fits. So something like a regular fit, slim fit, athletic fit, and so forth. There are 5 fits, and for each fit, there are 40 waist and length combinations. So altogether, there are about 200 SKUs per style. And because we can replenish so quickly, basically we do turn around for them about 3 weeks. Then they don't really need to hold that much inventory. And whatever they sell, that sort of odd size, they sell a couple units, and then we can replenish that within a few weeks. And so that allows them, this kind of flexibility allows them to have a very large proliferation of sizes. Another company that has a similar idea is Third Love. They do bras. And they've come up with half bra sizes, like the way that we have shoe sizes come in half sizes. So I think they range from A to H, and also in half cup sizes. And altogether, they have 78 bra sizes. Without the speed and flexibility, and they have to hold a lot of inventory in each size, that makes the model just not workable. Then the inventory risk is just too much. And so having the flexibility and speed allows them to have that kind of number of SKUs. And of course, when they have that many SKUs and that many sizes, you are able to provide a better fit for the consumer. Yeah, out of stock is actually the most expensive cost. There are plenty of studies. It says out of stock could be costing $1 trillion. I don't know exactly how they measure that, but there are studies that say, actually over here it says about 25%, a quarter of Amazon's sales are actually coming from consumers who go into a store, can't find that stock, it's not available, then they go on Amazon. And a quarter of Amazon sales are generated that way. And you can just sort of see, and this cost or lost margin never shows up on a financial statement, because it was never recognized as sales to begin with. And by having the speed and versatility, you can minimize that stock out. And I'm just going to be a little bit more academic. and just to try to demonstrate using very simple numbers. So let's say there's the same product. And then there's, it's and you can sell it. And basically, what you charge is what the market can bear. So let's say it's $100 item, a jacket, whatever you name it. And there are two ways to go about it. There are some companies that will, let's go to Bangladesh, let's order in large volumes so that I can drive down the FOB price. And let's say the landed price in this case is $30. So let's say 3-time markup, including duty and so forth. That's pretty normal. But then there is another way to do it, which is say, we need to speed. Maybe we pre-position some materials, and then that costs a lot more. Let's say it costs 1/3 more. So that same product costs 40 landed instead of 30. But when you have that speed and versatility, you don't really need to discount because you're not having excessive inventory. Anything, you just order, testing, reacting, and therefore you're not over-ordering. And for a traditional brand, it's very often your average discount is 40% off your sort of a suggested retail price. Of course, you're going to sell, let's say, a quarter of your products at full price. And then there will be a bunch that you have to discount, 20-30%, to get it in your main store. And then there's another 20-30%. You actually have to send it to your outlet and discount that by, let's say 60%. And then you have a quarter, 10%, whatever it is that you actually, we've heard bad press about, some brands are burning their inventory, or that ultimately gets given away to Africa or whatnot. And that's basically zero. So, the average take home for a brand using a traditional model, let's say 60% of their retail price. Whereas for a brand that basically just tests and reacts, the average discount, like go to Zara, you rarely get any discounts. Let's say 5%. So the actual take-home dollars between the two models, one's at 60, the other one's at 95. And then if you, let's say if you look at the gross profit dollars from that same jacket, a fast brand and retailer can generate $55 of gross margin, whereas a slow one, generates only 30. And so in a way it pays to, that 10 extra dollars because you're getting, 35 more at the bottom, so your gross profit is actually $25 more. And, there are a couple companies, and this is nothing new, that exemplify this difference. So Gap, it was during the 90s. It was sort of the a fashion company in the U.S. and just look at how their market cap has gone. So they were, let's say, close to 30 billion around 2000 or so. They were hovering around 15, 20, and today they are at 3.5. So that's been a lot of value destruction there. Compare that with Inditex. Of course, that's the parent company of Zara. It was at basically 20. This is I couldn't find anything that goes back further, but it was at around, let's say, this is around 30 billion. So the starting point is not all that drastically different. And then look at where it is today. Today it is at 107 billion. So that's 30 times value of Gap. Why is that the case? Just look at their financial statements. The Gap, you look at the cost of goods sold and occupancy expenses. That's basically 65%. That's 65% of their top line sales. Whereas for Zara, or Inditex, it is the gross profit is 57%. So cost of sales is only 43%. Right, so you can see of course, this in Gap's case, it includes occupancy costs. But let's say occupancy cost is around 10%. There's still a 10% difference in gross margin. You have to think that for Inditex, their cost of production is actually more expensive than Gap's because they produce in places like Portugal, they produce in Eastern Europe in order to be close to their market. Whereas Gap, is going to like Bangladesh. Our company once supplied to Banana Republic. I still remember they were like, okay, we'll have a shirt program, and then they put that onto a online auction, so that different suppliers, qualified suppliers, can bid for that program, and basically the lowest price gets the program. And they don't really care about how long it takes. You can produce in Timbuktu. It takes months to get anywhere. So the focus is very much on driving down the FOB costs. They use an online auction. They develop that in-house in order to make that happen. And look at what happened to their stock price and look at their margins. So their net income, last year, they lost a little bit of money. The year before, they made a little bit of money. But basically, relative to sales, it's just a break-even company. Whereas for Zara, Inditex, so they sold $32 billion worth of stuff, and they made $4 billion. So that's over 10%. So all that gross margin difference translates down to the bottom line. And that's why one company is worth $100 billion, and the other one's worth $3 billion. Yeah, so this is just some more details about capital efficiency. This is the assets. So let's say inventories. So for Inditex, it's about $3 billion, and for Gap, it was actually about $3 billion as well. And they dropped it a little bit over here. $3 billion. They dropped it a little bit in 2023. But let's say, Inditex is a company that's double the size of Gap in terms of sales, but the inventory level is comparable. So that just shows you how much more efficient Inditex is with their capital. This is nothing new, no secrets at all. I mean, there have been plenty of case studies. Harvard Business School wrote a case study, I think this was in 2006. There have been plenty of organizations that have actually given, and there is no secret. I mean, Zara, Inditex hasn't done anything that's there's patented and nobody else can, anybody can copy them. But so far, people like Gap and other traditional brands just haven't been able to do that. And of course, Shein is the new Zara. It's basically Inditex on steroids. We've worked with Shein as well. Their turnaround time is basically 10 to 14 days from basically deciding on a design to delivery. And then we actually truck the things over to their Guangzhou warehouse. And then I'm sure that while the thing is being trucked, they're already selling it online. And then the second they sell it online, they're collecting money from the consumer. And then once it reaches the warehouse, it's already on the way to the consumer. And even as big as Shein is, and I think that, they've been talk of them going IPO. They're a $26 billion top line company. As big as they are, their order sizes are between 1 to 300 units. If something sells well, they will then replenish on a daily basis. So they give you an order today, and it's only based on what sold yesterday. And if this style sells well tomorrow as well, then I'll place you another replenishment order tomorrow. That's how they basically will have. You can imagine that kind of system. They will never have any excess inventory, because if they have just a couple hundred units, even if it doesn't sell well, they will be able to digest 200 units. But if it sells well, they will buy another 200 every single day for as long as there is demand. And that company, they're a private company, so we don't know about their working capital. But you can imagine, I think they pay their suppliers something like 14 days or something. I bet that they actually have a negative working capital, which means they actually receive money from their consumers before they have to pay their suppliers. And that's even just 14 days. Whereas a lot of foreign brands, American brands or so, will require at least 30, if not like 60 days of payment terms, and they're still not very capital efficient. So of course, Shein is controversial for many other reasons, ESG, copying designs and so forth. But the idea of speed and versatility are not it's not mutually exclusive with Shein's sort of low quality and bad for the environment sort of reputation. You can be a high quality, for the right quality product with the right ESG mindset, but you can do things very quickly. When I first got into this business 20 years ago, I was sort of thinking, it takes something like 25 labor minutes to sew a shirt. Why is the lead time like 6 months? And today you're sort of seeing how that lead time is being compressed. There are lots of smart ways to sort of, especially on the material side, how to pre-position it. But this actual sewing and putting the garment together, it doesn't take months. As in Shein's case, the order lead time is just 7 to 14 days. And there's no reason why other brands can't adopt that kind of supply chain mentality. Of course, I'm not advocating to copy that kind of sort of low quality, sort of low price with ESG issues. But that mentality of how do you drive speed, and even at the expense of a higher cost. At the end of the day, as Zara has proven over 20 years, it's more than worth it. Yep. So as promised, try to keep this brief and try to let you guys go on your way to lunch. But before we go, are there any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
What percentage of the styles in are on that 14-day model?
100%?
100%?
Yeah.
And how many styles do they run per season?
Well, every day they bring about 3,000 new styles online every day. So they don't really have a season idea. They just have a day. It's every day's 3,000 new styles. If something sticks, then they keep on reordering. If something doesn't sell, it's gone by the next day.
And then prior to something going online, do you know how long the development process is?
Very quick. I mean, but for Shein, they're more a copycat, whatever, or some celebrity model was wearing this yellow dress and they just copy it, right? So I mean that's of course got another business ethics issue. So it's not, the development is very short. Yeah. Other questions? Great. Lunchtime then. Thank you very much.